Here at the FayWhat Show, we bring you interesting interviews from incredible, amazing people in our community, and today is no different. It is my pleasure to show you an interview with the incredible Miss Anna Lepeley. She is a world traveler. She is a comedian, lesbian, representing our community wherever she goes. Watch this. You know, I'm so lucky. I get to hang out with my friends in bed. How dope is that, right? And my next guest is just that. She's a friend of the show. She's been on the FayWhat Show a couple times. She's also been a guest on Queer News Tonight. She is hella funny. Hella funny, all right? Her name is Anna Lepeley, and I'm gonna scream. Hi, Mama.
It's nice to see you.
Welcome back,
I
honey.
missed you.
I missed you. I feel like you've been traveling the freaking world, making people laugh.
Yes. I can't remember where I've been. It's just I got dates, schedule. My brain is a map and a calendar, and I love it.
Are you still single?
Yes.
You thought about that for a second, bitch. I saw there was a hesitation because she's got a girl in every city. No, she doesn't. She really doesn't. She really doesn't. You know, Anna, you've been on my show before. You know, and I love your style. I love your charisma. I love your energy. You're funny as shit. You make me laugh. You know, and I say that out loud because, I used to host a comedy show on South Beach. A lot of comedians don't make me laugh, you know? And a lot of stuff that people say, it's kind of like, I've heard that joke before, or somebody did that joke in a different way, blah, blah. That's never happened with you, you know? You talk about some wild ass shit that straight people, LGBTQ plus people, women, men, non-binary, everybody can laugh at, you know? Is that intentional?
Oh, I mean, first of all, I just take all my personal stories. I mean, your comedy should be individual to you. So some of the things that my comedy usually talks about culture, my dating life, but it should be individual to you, but also relatable to everybody. Mm-hmm. So when I'm touring, a lot of times I'm doing audiences. I'm banging them. I'm doing audiences. I'm doing audiences that, I'll be honest, I don't think they've ever seen a lesbian outside of porn. I am a culture shock. I'm Cuban. I'm lesbian. I'm incredibly androgynous. So I am a first for them. And I'm doing a lot of red states, red cities, red towns. And I love it because I'm coming in there. We have nothing in common. And I'm making them laugh. And I think I'm doing Satan, the Lord's work at the end of the day when I do this.
You are doing the Lord's work. Look, relatability means everything, Anna, okay? And like you said, there's people that had never seen a lesbian, have never interacted with a lesbian. And once they start hearing that the same shit happens to us that happens to them, you know, then that stigma about our community gets lessened, I think. And you're able to do that, you know? Have you gone into any of these red cities, red states, and been afraid?
Never. I go in there. I don't know anybody.
You carry mace?
This is my mace.
Girl power, bitches.
No, I gotta tell you, I'm actually probably a little bit more concerned in liberal cities, which is kind of ironic. I remember one time I was doing DC, and I was in an incredibly gay-friendly block, and this young, good-looking kid walks up to me. He's like 20-something, and he's like, I need to know if you were born a man or a woman. And I was like, that's not really a question you ask on the first date, but... You know, maybe we can, you know.
Maybe you can, you know, buy me a tea or something and then we can talk about it.
Yeah. And we're on a block. There's gay bars. There's hot, straight women. You can tell they're straight. You know, you can tell a girl's straight because she has live, laugh, love. No, she's just a bunch of hot girls. And I'm wondering, what is this incel wasting his time asking me this? And then I said, well, I bet your problem is that my arms are bigger than yours. And I took off my jacket and you wanted to fight me, right? And his friends dragged him away, and I'm like, "Get out of here, you loser!" You know what I mean? If you were that, you know, you'd be too busy banging girls if you really had a secure sense of self,
right?
But I got to tell you, when I go to these conservative places, I don't have any issues. And what really brings me joy is that there aren't many gays in these places. I mean, there's not many gays, not many trans. But when I do these small towns, which I get a lot of criticism for, they're like, why are you going to these conservative cities, towns? You know, because I'm like, well, the gays can't afford to go to the big cities like Miami, LA, New York. I'm going to come to them.
Oh, I love that.
And really, like I did Mobile, Alabama. The
like
room was
We're
full of
Here.
lesbians.
You're like the touring We're Here.
Yeah.
Have you seen We're Here with the drag queens going into different cities?
Yes.
So they'll go to Salem. They'll go to all these little these cities that are unusually LGBTQ plus friendly and show up 3 big ass drag queens. So you do the same in your little androgynous Tommy Lee looking self.
Yeah. Tommy Lee trapped in a girl's body. And it's great. At the end of the night, you've got gays and straight people all mixed and nobody cares about anything. And I like that inclusivity that's so inadvertent and it's just such a good time. And I'm a party. People get to come together. And I really think that is doing work with lessening the bigotry, hate that people might have wired in them because they are from the South.
Completely. And the hate rhetoric. It's just stuff that they see on TV, the fake news, all this kind of stuff. And again, until you are face to face with somebody in our community, maybe you've never been in the same room with a trans person or whatever, how can you honestly have any opinion if you've never met somebody from the community? Right. And you bring that, So Anna identifies as a lesbian and Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. You guys know that.
Tommy
trapped in a girl's body with a dash of George Michael. That part I have to. Did that come later? Did that come later on?
I think I realized. Well, I like getting off in bathrooms. No, I'm just kidding.
I get off to Pamela Anderson. What? No.
Even though I only am attracted to women, I do feel like I have a lot of gay male tendencies as opposed to female tendencies. So I'm Tommy Lee trapped in a girl's body, but a lot of gay male tendencies. So I feel like that's why I also relate to gay men. So
okay, and that's also probably why you could relate to a non-binary person because you're also like very fluid when it comes to whatever you're feeling is how you are and how you present yourself on stage, and that's that.
When my hair's tied back, I get confused for a man sometimes walking in the Buc-ee's bathroom. Do you know what a Buc-ee's is?
No, what's a Buc-ee's?
A Buc-ee's is a gas station that you'll find when you go into these more redneck places.
Do they sell peanuts and shit like that?
Yeah, but it's a Texas gas station.
Okay.
There's, I remember when the whole DeSantis thing was getting crazy. I remember going into bathrooms and you're getting looks and I'm like, relax. I'm not looking at you. I'm going in the stall. Let me do my own thing. And it's crazy, but really there's no issues. I'm going out there in the real world and there are no issues. And really people are just going out to have a good time. The people that are all crazy, whether they're in the extreme left or extreme right, are staying at home masturbating to Gilmore Girls and Joel Osteen. So they're not going out, okay? And I say that interchangeably for the left and right. There's some sort of something going on.
There's something going on.
Weird shit.
Do you, and I bet you I know the answer to this, but have people ever come up to you and said, like, you taught me something? I learned something today from your set.
Yes. Yeah, I've definitely been told some things. I was told once in Toronto, I think it was, a guy came up to me and said, you're a gay comic and you're Latin American and you went up there and you said a bunch of things, but they were funny and you weren't angry. Like you taught us things, but you weren't yelling at us or reprimanding us. You told really bold statements, making fun of homophobia or making fun of racism or making fun of this and that, but you made us laugh. So it wasn't like that you were getting a lecture, which you really don't want to do. You want to make people laugh and they go, oh shit, I am stupid for
thinking that way, right? But it's that thin line, Anna, right? Because you also, like you said, you don't want to preach to the people.
Nobody wants to give they'll go to church for that.
No, exactly. And they'll turn off right there. They'll go, okay, I'm not listening to this lesbian. That's it. I'm done.
Plus, they won't like you. One of the number one rules in comedy is likability.
They have to like you.
And then professionalism. So important. And I come from a background of academia. So I have a PhD in exercise biochemistry and nutrition research.
She's a nerd.
Yeah.
But she's a hot nerd. So
huge nerd. And I used to be, and I do want to say this because it is actually interesting. So I used to be more feminine looking. I used to let all my girlfriends back in the day do my eyebrows. And I used to be femme looking. And I did it for 2 reasons. To get pussy, because in Miami, it's femme for femme.
It is.
And that works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it worked, and you got some, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
I meow girlfriends all the time. I mean, Miami lesbians are beautiful. I think that's where you have the most beautiful lesbians in the world.
You heard that?
And maybe Spain, but I think Miami is the top. And also, it got me a lot of corporate work. So I always felt like I had to present myself a certain way. And I used to present at conferences in academia. I was a college professor. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm going to stop looking this whole, I felt like I was in drag every day. I was femme, I'd wear heels, and nothing wrong with that. It just was never for me. You know what I mean? I am Tommy Lee from Motley Crue trapped in a girl's body. So I went back to how I want to look. And I did stop getting a lot of pussy in Miami. I mean, I still get some. No, just kidding. No,
there's always some. There's always some pee to get in Miami. You know, as long as there's booze, there's always.
But it's femme for femme, and I respect that. I have a ton of lesbian friends. They're femme for femme, and I think that's fantastic. I think people should like what they like. Anybody who gets mad about that is weird and insecure. Like, there's somebody for everybody.
There's somebody for everybody, yes. Gusto los colores. Like, there's always someone for everyone.
Yeah, if somebody's not attracted to you, who cares?
That's
like,
fine.
have fun with your friend. It's very...
And then you just said, F it, I'm just going to be me.
I'm going to be me, but I also stopped getting a lot of corporate work because of that. Because
you wanted to be you.
Yeah. They're like, all right, we can handle some more of these sporty lesbians, but this is like, what the hell? She's a unibrow. What the hell is that? The jawline. Who cares? So I
love Frida, so I was just going for that.
She had it right. In a relationship, you have two separate houses with a bridge that connects. I'm very independent. And I know a lot of lesbians are codependent. I've never lived with a partner. But anyways, I'm getting off track.
Is that why you're single?
I
asked. Well, and also because you live out of a freaking suitcase, which can't be easy for anybody dating your ass.
That's so hard. And I do live on the road. It is incredibly hard to date like that. Plus, you know, when I'm on tour, you're in different cities. You've got girls, you've got groupies. But I think what people don't realize is, me coming to a city, I am a party. People are going to have fun. I don't drink.
I know that. I was going to ask you about that next. How have you always been that way? Did something occur? No. Has it never just been your liking? You'd rather get pee?
I think it's somewhat of I think it's a cultural thing. I always grew up around alcohol.
Honey, you're Cuban, right? Yeah, like Cuban, in our Latin households, for a baby shower, for a baby's 1-year-old, there's booze everywhere. Yeah. Like, it's just part of what we do.
I agree. In Cuban and Spanish culture, you're exposed to alcohol at a young age. So I remember just being around it, being able to try things. And so when I went off to college, or, you know, when I was old enough to drink and all that, I'm like, who cares? I've drank before. I've had sips of alcohol. I never really cared for it. So the problem is, you see these Americans, their parents are like, no, you can't even get near it. And they go to college and then they fail.
Yeah, completely, because their parents aren't watching them anymore. So they go off the deep end and drink and do everything. Yeah. Because they're not exposed to it.
Yeah. It's just like, tell them it's whatever, take it or leave it. And I've never done drugs. So...
And like, you're not even curious as to what a drug would feel like? Have you ever asked a friend, what did that feel like?
I've never been curious about dudes or drugs. It's just one of those things you just know.
No, I mean, no. If you know, you know. Like, I know, because like I was curious. Again, I have 9 years of sobriety. So like, when I was out there, bitch, thank you. Yes, we can. Huge. Yeah, I wouldn't be fucking sitting next to you right now if it wasn't for that shit, because I'm wired that way, Anna. You know what I mean? So I don't know where to stop. I can't just have one.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. But but it's a blessing that I was able to find out, But in the comedy world, we hear about the Belushis, about the John King, about everybody who has passed away from being a comic, literally. Being a comic pushed them to drugs, alcohol, triggers that they couldn't deal with, and then they excessively did more of that led to their demise. That's the profession that you're in. You know that.
Yeah. You're on tons of drugs. I'm actually very naive about the drugs that I'm around, but I can't be around weed. It just smells like trash. But I didn't realize how much cocaine, how many drugs there were. I mean, I'd be in a small city and they're doing cocaine. I'm like, why? Everything closes at midnight. There's a Waffle House. What are you guys going to do?
The waffles won't taste the same after you have that line. Are you sure?
But I will say this. I don't judge a comic for doing drugs. It's none of my business. I would never date a girl that does drugs. Okay. But
Smoke? Would you be okay with her smoking?
No smoking weed, no
cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yeah, that's fine. It's very 80s. Okay. I like that.
Very
it's very
80s?
nostalgic. But I don't judge people on what they do as long as they're within that realm of being professional. But let's face it, we're in bars. There's alcohol. There's drugs. I don't care what people do as long as they show up on time, do the show, do the damn thing, don't run the light. But I get it. Sometimes you're doing shows and you're getting paid in drink tickets. So it's an environment for that. But it's one of those things that I'm like, if I have it, I'm ordering apple juice with my drink ticket, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
So
wow. And they're
I'm
like,
boring.
this drink ticket don't cover your apple juice.
Or they don't have it.
Sorry.
They're like, we have apple cocaine. And I'm like, shit, never mind.
No, I can't. Sorry.
Also, I want to mention on a note of connecting with an audience, because a lot of people think that my only audience that I can connect with are gay audiences. Now, I love my gay and trans family, and we connect. That's a given, right? It's a great time. But I will say my biggest audience, aside from that, or just overall, are straight older people. Yeah.
Wow.
I
didn't expect you
because they don't look old. They look great. They're older. Okay. And a lot of times they are conservative. I don't know what their politics are usually, but straight older people are my biggest fan base. And I think one of the reasons for that is connecting. I don't ever get on stage. Obviously I'm totally sober when I get on stage, and I'm engaging and I'm connecting. I think a lot of times when comics go on stage and they're under the influence of something, you're creating a barrier between you and the audience and your own brain to be able to think quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's so true. And that connection is so important, you know? And I think that like real comedy heads can see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can see it. You were touring with comedians in drag doing comedy, right? That was the whole title, right? Any pushback with that when you went to any of these weird states?
No, actually. So on the site, when I'm not doing stand-up comedy, I'm hosting and producing a comedy show called Comedians in Drag Doing Comedy, where I recruit comedians in that city.
Love it
let's say Mobile, Orlando, Jacksonville, you name it. And I'm recruiting 4 or 5 comedians, professional comedians in that city, to dress as the opposite sex, or if they're a trans comic, as the opposite of what they identify as, or a hyper embellished, whatever their choice is. But if it's a cis straight comic, they have to dress as the opposite sex. If it's a lesbian comic, I'm like, you can be a hyper embellished, feminine or whatever you want. But it's, for the most part, I'm getting a lot of straight men dressing as women for their first time, and they thrive. And I got to say, the only pushback I get, extreme right and extreme left, which I think should just have sex with each other and call it a day, because they're the worst. I hate them. They're the worst. But like I said, they never go out. So the extreme right, they're like, oh, we hate drag, and it's a comedy show, but it's like WrestleMania meets a Miss Universe pageant, because somebody wins at the end of that show. So I have, if it's a girl that's as a drag king that night, still a comedian, she's the king of that city. So I have a king of Lake Worth, a king of Pensacola. If it's a guy that wins and he's dressed as a female, he's the queen of that city. So I have Queen of Miami, Queen of Miami, Queen of West Palm Beach. And then they compete the year later. I come back to that city. The problem is the extreme left was saying, well, you should have gay and trans comics on this only. And I'm going, well, how would I know what the comics are? That's so invasive to ask. All I do is I look for the best comics. If they happen to be straight, gay, trans, I book them because they're a good comic, not because of what they are. And that would be so invasive to like approach comics and say, what were you born as? Or what? No, I'm booking them because they're a good comic and it's a show. I want to put on a good show. And they're like, well, you should put a gay flag over your name. And I'm like, this isn't the Holocaust. Like, I don't need to label what I am. I am a comedian. I am a Cuban-American comedian. You'll find out that I'm gay during my set.
Of course.
But, and that's another thing too. I kind of like take away that label, and then they are just, yeah, I'm gay. Yeah, cool. Let's normalize it. Let's make it an everyday thing in these places where they just don't see gays. But the show is wild, and I love doing it. It's a lot of work, but it is. I currently have 38 kings and queens, excuse me, in the United States and Canada.
Amazing. Holy shit, Anna. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. But.
And the other show that you were also doing was Gay and Not So Gay.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So when I'm in a city and they're like, we want you to produce a show. So a lot of times I'm just getting on somebody's showcase. I'm headlining, or I'm featuring, or I'm just on the show. But sometimes some cities are like, we don't have a show here. Would you produce it? And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And I end up usually headlining it. And what I do is I call it the Gay and Not So Gay Show, because it's just random name that came to me, because I'm like, let's just get it out there. Let's mix gays and non-gays and whatever, make it whatever. And it's such a success. I did it in Mobile, Alabama a couple months ago, and it was really fun.
I love it. Yeah. So the description as it was, the show brings the gay and straight communities together through comedy. It blurs the lines of inclusivity, right? Okay. So like for this show, as opposed to the other show where it was, comedians doing comedy in drag, right? This one it's like gay and not so gay. So it could be really just anyone, right?
Yeah, it's just a comedy show. I mean, you know, if sometimes I'm the only gay, sometimes there are other gays. Nobody knows. Sometimes there's a bisexual. You know, it's just something I just came up with randomly, and it's been a huge success, and it's just something I produce on the side as well. But it's just a straight up comedy show. There really isn't anything. There's no agenda. There's no nothing, and that's what I like. There's no agenda. Just I want people at all my shows, whether I'm producing it or not, just to have a good time.
Just to have a good time. Yeah.
People need a break from all the
and from the shit. But the thing is that you're also, and I'm telling you this as a friend because I'm very well aware that you're always going to get shit from people. People are never going to be happy completely, right? Which is why I tell you don't read the comments sometimes because they make you crazy. You know?
Right.
Because again, we're marginalized in our community, right? So if somebody tells us, you're beautiful, you're great, you're funny, oh my God, I had the time of my life, I can't wait to see you again. And then someone says, you suck. You don't see any of the 10 great things that people said. You remember, you suck. You know, it sucks, you know, but it's the truth because then you'll get people that will tell you something like, okay, why did you put that straight comic in that spot when they took the spot of a queer comic? You know, you know how people say that a straight actor shouldn't play a gay role, you know, because that is a spot for a gay actor, you know? What do you think about that? What do you say to that? I mean,
I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. If you think a straight person shouldn't be on a queer show, that's your opinion, but you cannot Fidel Castro me and say, you should do this. Fuck you. I'm going to do what I want, and I'm not going to take professional advice from people that I would never take professional advice from. I've been doing my own things for a lot of years. I've learned from mistakes, but that's not a mistake, and I do everything with integrity and professionalism. So here's my philosophy on including one straight person on a show, which I wasn't entirely sure he was straight. But anyways, but here's my philosophy on that. Number one, I think it's super cool for a straight person who dressed in drag, sort of like a Wesley Snipes to Wong Fu, to entertain the gays, right? It's cool that the gays get to entertain the gays, but I thought it was so cool to have a straight working with and for the gays. And I thought, God, if that doesn't spell inclusivity and being an actual ally, and he hung out with all the gays. I mean, this is somebody that I'm close with and I know, to me personally represents a phenomenal ally for a number of reasons. And I was going to say something else, but I want to put on a good show. That's also something I like.
At the end of the day, integrity and a good show is at the forefront.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right, so we have to talk about My Hollywood Pride. So My Hollywood Pride was a couple of weeks ago, and the queer comedy night was so friggin' funny. Like, so friggin' funny. You were asked to put that group together.
Yes.
Right? And how did you put this initial group together?
I just chose some of my favorite comics. I mean, of course, majority gay. I do want to mention on a side note that people will say, oh, you booked a straight comic on a gay show, but nobody's saying anything about, I do gay festivals and gay things every now and then. I do everything. So I've done shows where they have bisexual female comics, and I say bisexual because I'm bisexual, because they say it to get on festivals, and you can't quantify, you can't measure if a girl's actually bisexual, but the whole set's about sucking dick. She's not bisexual. Let's get this. Come on, get out of here. These queer, and I love them all. I love all these producers. I love everybody, but I'm like, you really let this bisexual girl get in, just so you know? But I put a straight man on who I'm guessing, he's totally straight, I'm guessing. And they're like, but yes, I just chose some of my favorite queer, gay comics and a straight guy because I knew he's so good and he's done my drag show. And also he is Black Haitian. And when I tour around, I can't tell you how many comics come up. And I had a really cute, adorable Haitian comic come up to me. I was in Gainesville, and he goes, oh, anybody who does that show is gay, huh? Oh, but I'm Haitian. I go, So the fact that people automatically think if a guy does my show, or if a guy embraces his femininity, that he's gay, that was another reason I wanted to. And he's a fighter. He's an MMA fighter. So I feel like this was, to me, a strong ally, a good representation, something to me personally as a person who actually travels outside of safe spaces. I don't do safe spaces. I go to places alone, not knowing anybody. A lot of times, like I said, I'm the only gay person within miles. miles
and miles and miles.
I don't give a shit. I'm going out there doing the real thing. So
No, and listen, again, it shows. It shows. But shit happens. Okay. And like you said, sometimes, and like I said, you can't always make everybody happy, you know? So, so My Hollywood Pride, we have the queer comedy. You put this group together. One of the people were Tarek Tarjaman, when he is a Palestinian comic. And he's got, you know, with how things are going right now, you know, with Hamas and everything, he's got his own stance on things. And he was uninvited to be part of the show, which was a huge success. Again, let me say that. I know that you had worked together at the Villain Theater in some capacity, blah, blah, blah. What happened? Was that difficult? What occurred?
No, I was asked to remove him, and it was very sad because I obviously booked him.
Mm-hmm.
I book him on my shows, and I was like, okay, well, I get it from a professional standpoint. You have to be careful what you post on social media as an entertainer, basically is what I was told. And I understand that because I used to be a college professor. I'm careful what I post on social media. And with that, I have to say, I have a wild Instagram story. It's girls' titties and sometimes the guys' genitals on my drag show because there's a bikini part and everything. It's wild. But at the end of the day, I'm always very careful to not offend anybody. I don't believe in, I don't do fat jokes. I don't do disability. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't believe in it because it's not funny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't. So I'm always very careful about what I post, whether it could be, you know, even if you reshare something or if you like something, you have to really look at the source to make sure it's not offending anybody around. So as somebody who comes from a very professional world in academia and those kinds of things, and as a college professor, you have to be careful what you do at the end of the day. You have to, and especially as an entertainer, if you
don't want to be canceled, of course.
Showbiz is showbiz. You just have to be, nobody's saying, and I guess the rumor spread that was that I said you couldn't be political. I never said that. I have the whole conversation. I never said those words. Because you know that
Tarek, he's a Palestinian Guatemalan. That is part of him. You know, it's what he talks about. And he's always talked about that, you know, as long as you've known him. Yeah. And you were okay with that.
I booked him on the show. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't give a shit what was on his social media. I didn't care. He was on the show. I've had him on my drag show recently. And yeah, I don't really pay attention, but now I'm learning that I probably have to pay better attention to what people post on their social media. This was a huge learning experience. But at the end of the day, I do what's professional, what's done with integrity, and I make sure that nobody's being targeted in any certain way. So this was just, you know, you want to make sure that we're just covering all the bases in terms of making sure nothing is a hate speech indirectly on social media.
And that everybody feels seen.
Yes, post what you believe in. I'm all for that. Yeah. Educate, but there cannot be any sort of indirect sort of hate, which was the message that I was given. And then another comic very close with her, she is Pakistani lesbian, and I adore her. I booked her. Duh, this is the common sense shit. I booked this lineup.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of it. And she backed out because she said that we couldn't be political on the stand-up. But I was like, I never said that. I never said those words. I said, we have to be careful what we post on our social media, especially politically, as entertainers. That's it. That's all I said. And she backed out, and we had a really long heart-to-heart on the phone about that. And we're obviously still friends, and I will book her again. She handled it professionally. She just wanted to be removed, and I was like, that's fine.
And you respected her wishes, and that's that.
What am I going to do? I just got to put on a show. So I put feelers out there asking what LGBT comics could come down to Hollywood to do it. And I ended up getting 2 killers. I got Jeff Klein from St. Pete.
Jeff Klein is...
They loved him. And he has some really good, intelligent jokes. I hadn't worked with him directly before. I hadn't even met him. And then I got Preston Canavan, who's a bisexual male who you don't usually see that.
Yeah. And he was funny as shit too.
Incredible.
Oh
and he's done my drag show. He is Autism. And he won Satellite Beach. He's the queen of Satellite Beach.
Queen of Satellite Beach. Yeah. I love it.
And he's autistic, which I am a little bit as well. I think some people don't realize it, but I'm very much on the spectrum.
You're on the spectrum.
Yeah. I have sensory issues and things like that. So I was able to, no, it was loud. Like, if we had loud music on, I'd be like, I cannot talk to you right now.
I cannot do this interview with all this loud stuff
happening. Not touch, fortunately, which works out great for comedy, especially when the girls are showing me their tits after shows. All consensual, of course. I'm the type where I'm like, you want to show me? Or on stage, my persona is, sure, flash me, do this. Off stage, I'm like,
consent first, please. Consent first.
I'm autistic as hell. And I know it's the cool thing, but I've always been.
It's the cool thing.
Yeah. I'm like, I've always been. I didn't want to tell anybody, but it's the truth. But at the end of the day, I ended up putting on a really great show, and that's what matters at the end of the day. And I wish everybody the best.
Happy, honey.
Yeah, they were happy, and that's what matters.
So freaking happy. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. I mean, God, we have to laugh in our community.
Yeah.
Things are tough.
Yeah.
This is an election year, Anna.
Yeah.
Shit is going bad, okay?
Right. And people just need a break. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, these comics had really good points and things. I mean, I make fun of that guy in Colorado who won't bake cakes for gay weddings. It's so strong joke, you know what I mean? Like, because obviously he's gay, but it's all about just having a good time. I think there's a time and a place for when you want to convey a strong message politically. There is a time and a place to do it, and I would be happy to help somebody promote that if they wanted to do it. I think when it comes to a comedy show, we got to go in there and make them laugh.
Yeah.
And if you're going to give a message that is strong, just make sure you're making them laugh at the end of the day, because that's what we're there to do. If it was a political meeting. Sure, you know what I mean? Go to town.
People are not going there for that. They want to be enjoyed. They want to have a good time. They want to laugh.
Because there's a lot of really shitty shit going on right now.
Yeah.
And people just need a break from that for a minute. And unfortunately, people don't get a break from that in the real world. But as a comedy show, you're getting hired to do one thing.
Yeah. So, make people laugh, entertain. And so talking about your comedy show, let's see your merch. I always love your crazy ass merch. You always have some weird shit. I can't, the last time you gave me a weird ass pillow, I can't remember what was on it, but it was some crazy shit. And I was just like, oh my God, Anna. So after I snuggled with it and
Okay, so at the end of my show, I always say, I have a PhD. I know most lesbians work at FedEx.
Okay.
But except me and you. No, I'm just kidding. I have a PhD and I work at FedEx. Because I just love the box so much. And then I say at the end of the show, I have a fresh box of merch. I'm teaching the art of fingering. 2 fingers. 1 is medical. 2 is magical.
It's very true. 1, medical. 2, fun times at Faye's house. I love that shirt.
I carry all the sizes. I always have them at my shows. It was funny. I did a show in Orlando the other day. And this Colombian lady in the audience, I was having so much fun with her all night. She goes, in Colombia, I get 3 fingers.
I bet you do. And I think she surgically kept one of those in. Just for shit.
I'm not sure that's a gyno you're going to. Is it the back of a massage parlor? You're not getting those pap smear results back, girl. They're not getting those back.
No, she's not. She's liking it. She's liking it. You don't need 5 pap smears a year, girl.
Maybe she's going to open her own gyno here in Orlando. And then I've got live, laugh, lick, pussy.
Oh, I love it. Straight to the point. Words to live by.
I graffiti these in Wynwood, and it's a great time. I just,
I love that.
I just want, and I want to say, I sell this to straight, gays, everybody. I got to make a one for the gay guys. I got to make live, laugh, lick, pussy. But in the meantime, pussy, they can improvise. But I sell it to everybody. That's the thing.
Love that.
Young, old, it's like they love it. They have such a good time.
I love that. What was the verbiage again? What? Eat, drink, what? What was it?
Live, laugh, love is the original. So live, laugh,
for the
lick,
boys
pussy.
is what?
Oh, live, laugh, lick, pussy.
Lick, pussy. Okay.
I want to be inclusive.
It should be something like live, laugh.
Do poppers.
Or live, laugh, anal bleach. Something like that the gay boys can really chime into.
Yeah.
Just
at
saying.
Least the gay boys do love the 2 fingers one. So, I mean, I wanted to make something for everyone, but I do have pillows that a lot of gay boys love as well.
All right.
So I sell decorative pillows.
Because, I mean, who doesn't need a decorative pillow that says something naughty that you have to put away when your mom comes over? I mean, hello.
So this was to make fun of the typical straight girl that has be bold, dream, be you on her bed. Well, now you can have be bold, be you, bend over, bitch.
Yes! Bend over, bitch.
I sell them for $35, and I tell people that I stuff them myself, but for extra, I can stuff them.
I love it.
I love the gay guys that I am, and even that on stage, I tell everybody.
You stuff it with your hair or something, or like with your underarm hair or something.
Actually, you know what? I gotta say, I don't have underarm hair. And the other day, hell no. The other day I had a show, and this straight girl came up to me with her boyfriend. They were very nice. They bought merch, but she goes, people feel so inclined to ask comics anything. I don't get it.
After you get off the stage, you belong to them. So they can ask you anything.
Right. Yeah, boundaries. But she goes, I'm so surprised you don't have armpit hair. And I go, what about me says I'm disgusting and I'm not hygienic? What the hell? Like, I have cologne on, for fuck's sake.
But there's women who like to grow their hair out.
Fine. I'm going to get beat up with crystals after somebody's going to see me.
No! throw a crystal at you. They're gonna throw a razor at you.
And what do you call like the deodorant they use that just doesn't even work? You know, the
rock.
aluminum.
It's like a rock. And it's like, what do you want me to do with this freaking rock? Oh, put it under your under. What? That happened to me. Like, I had a double mastectomy, right? So I needed to get like all organic kind of stupid ass deodorant, and they gave me like a rock to put under my arm, and I was like, this shit doesn't work, and I stink from this rock. Right. Okay, like I'm not using this natural shit.
Yeah, I get it. It doesn't work. It no funciona. You gotta.
No. You got any more? You got anything else?
Yes, I got one more pillow.
Yes, show me.
Instead of the beach is my happy place.
Yes.
Your butthole is my happy place.
Yes.
In papyrus font.
Yes. Yeah, it's got to be in that font.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but this is a really, like, you stuffed this mother effer.
Yeah.
Like that is some.
Well,
I mean, is that like?
Yeah, I stuff it. Wow. Listen, I'm not the arts and crafts type. I'm a science major, and now I'm just a comic. I don't know how I became. I'm not even business savvy. I mean, I am now as a producer with venues and stuff, but when I was doing all stuff with my PhD, I wrote 2 books, and I used to sell those on the road, but then it got too much. I can't carry.
It's too much to carry.
I miss you, Joan Rivers, but it got too much, you know?
Joan Rivers.
But
I love that. Can I want to tell people that. Like, your butthole is my happy place. I think I'm going to tell my boy in bed next, your butthole is my happy place. He's go, well, it's a happy place for many.
People are so happy, but I do give a good quality product.
You really do. That pillow is stuffed.
Yeah, because here's what happens.
And it's soft also.
I've had like younger boys buy it, and they're like, I had a guy buy it the other day in Miami, and he goes, me and my girlfriend broke up, but we're still living together. Of course, because he's in Miami, you can't afford to.
It's $2,500 for a room.
Yeah. He goes, you stuffed this so well, I didn't anticipate that, and I can actually sleep on it. And that's what I like, is I don't just want to make some flimsy decorative pillow. I want people, the $35, I want people to be like, this is decorative, offensive to the Christian relatives, and that's the one fan base I probably will never be able to connect to. Everybody, straight, gay, of course, gay and trans and straight, and everybody conservative, liberal, but the super Christians, I can't get through to that. But one day at a time, because they will come out of the closet. One day at a time. It's so funny, because another comedian would be like, but F them. I don't need them. Anna's like, one day I'm going to lay on this bed again and say, I got the evangelicals and they're all following me. I mean, maybe I have already, because I do a lot of super conservative biblical towns, and I think that the best way to get somebody on your side isn't by attacking them, isn't by yelling at them, isn't by telling them they're an asshole. It's by making them laugh, being likable, and in your jokes, making them realize how stupid they are, but they're laughing. So and they're laughing at themselves. Yeah. At the same time. That is fucking genius, girl. That's why you a doctor. That's why you a doctor. That's that PhD. Yeah. I love you, Anna. Thank you so much for being on my show. Like, I love your representation. I love your voice. I love your energy. I love your crazy ass autism self. I love it all. I love it all. Please make sure that you follow Anna Lepeley on all social media outlets. She's on Instagram at Dr._Lepeley. She's also got touring dates on her website. Please make sure you go see her show. Go up to her and tell her, your butthole is my happy place. Yes, but if it's loud, again, I have sensory issues. I'm not going to be able to talk back to you. Let's go in the bathroom. You can do cocaine and I'll respect you. And as a matter of fact, if you want to give me drugs, give them to me. I'll give them to everyone else, because sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. I want everybody to be happy, but safe at the same time. But safe. And then let's be real. You're not going to give them away. You'll sell it. Oh, shit. See? Yes, that's the thing. That's the thing, is I like doing comedy in Canada, so I can't go to jail. No. I can't have you. I don't have anything. I'm so boring. But you're really not boring. Yeah, I know, but like I feel like we've had like 3 relationships in just the time that we've been laying here. Right? It's like we've gotten together and broken up at least 3 times, like most lesbians. My addiction in the past used to be women. I used to sleep with all the groupies. Now I'm just way more selective. So gotta have now you only sleep with some of the groupies. Yeah. The first groupie that comes up now, not all of them. I can tell you, now, the way that I look now, I get hit on by gay guys too, which is the ultimate compliment. Mm-hmm. And I love that. When I do get hit on by a straight guy, it's super flattering as well. I mean, it's flattering when anybody hits on you respectfully, right? Because they're admiring beauty. Yeah, I also feel like sometimes when straight guys hit on me, I'm like, maybe I'm like that step for them before coming out of the closet. It could be. You're right there. You're like right there in between. Have you ever made out with a gay boy? No, I'm not really, no, I'll hold hands with everybody. No, I've never done anything. Have you ever made out with a boy, period? When I was younger, I did a couple of Brokeback Mountain moments. I felt like a dude making out with a dude when I met up with boys. Yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
Like
it was
a Brokeback
really
thing.
awkward. Yeah.
But you're a gold star. You've never been with a boy.
Nope, never been with men. It's one of those things that you just know from the get go. You know, I
didn't know. I had to figure that out on my own. 20 penises later, I was like, I don't like to lick this. Why am I doing this? Get me a pee now. You know, it happens. Anna Lepeley, I freaking love her. Please make sure that you follow her and go see her show, okay? Thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you so much.
Kiss
I love
me.
you too. Also, just to tell people, because I don't have a
bitch, she won't ever let me stop.
Wait. I don't have a website. So in my Facebook bio, because remember I have older fans, so Facebook is just Anna Lepeley. I will put the spelling of my name there, of course. Facebook, my link tree has all my show dates, but I'm always posting my show dates in my story on my social media. That's all
Instagram.
It is. And you can always feel free to DM me. I'm always like, I'm very friendly. I'm happy to share stuff with people and get back to them. Because I want, like I said, it's a party and I want everybody to feel welcome unless they're a fucking asshole. All right?
That's it. Again, that's it. That should be like in the invite.
Yeah.
You're all invited unless you're...
Yeah, there's rarely a time that I dislike a comic, and if I do, it's because they're an asshole and or they were incredibly unprofessional. So I really like just about everybody.
Okay. And
almost.
Your butthole is my happy place.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much. I
love
appreciate you. I love you too.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you.